And I get sucker punched coming out of the pause screen. Welcome back to Knack. This is the Gaming Elementalist. Thank you very much for watching. Today we are going to be crashing the robot garden party that Victor set up for us in the end of the last video to test Knack because he wasn't impressed by us. Here we see our last Sunstone super move tutorial. It is the circle triangle ability, and it launches balls of relics great distances towards enemies, usually killing them. Here we also see our very first hidden area. The things you pick up here are either going to be gadget parts like the one I just got for the harvester that collects sunstones from defeated enemies, or special relics that you have to collect a certain number of in order to unlock the extra knacks. The interesting thing about this game in the process of the next-gen capabilities with the PlayStation 4 is that if you have someone in your friends list who has played Knack and been to the same secret rooms as you, you can pick up whatever you get randomly from the secret rooms, or you can also pick up anything that they got from the secret rooms. So if you have a lot of friends who play Knack, then you can more easily get what you wanted out of the secret areas and more easily get the gadgets that you think are more desirable or the gadgets that you can get faster in the game. The rest of this level is pretty straightforward, so I wanted to take the time out now to get into some of the development history of this game. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about most was Mark Cerny, the writer and creative director for this game. This is the first game that Mark Cerny has actually directed. He has a very long history, though, in game design, especially with Sony games. And I wanted to get into that real quick. There's a very long list. I'm just going to give most of the highlights. He started at age 17 with Atari, making Marble Madness in 1984. He was the designer and a programmer for that game. There was only 6 people total that worked on that game, so there was a lot of part in that he played. The next major thing he worked on was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with Sega in 1992. He was the programmer for that, but he also oversaw the studio, Sega Technical Institute. It was a separate studio that Sega made in America that Mark Cerny talked to 2 of the original creators for the first Sonic game into coming back on board with. Sega in general was happy with the turnout for the first Sonic game because of how well it did, but behind the scenes they were kind of upset with the way the development studio handled the game, supposedly, and so they hired an entire new studio for the second Sonic the Hedgehog game. So at the age of about 23, Mark Cerny ended up overseeing that entire studio and doing a lot of the main programming for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 game, as well as being in charge of the hiring of the crew members for that game and the communications between the marketing team, who originally said that they did not want another Sonic game and had them make Kid Chameleon, which turned out pretty badly, and they immediately wanted another Sonic game after that, so there's a little bit of a hassle there. In 1996, he moved on to Universal Studios Interactive, the video game company for Universal Studios, the movie company, and mostly worked on PS1 titles with Naughty Dog and Insomniac Games. He had production and design roles for all of the first 4 Crash Bandicoot and the first 3 Spyro games, all simultaneously being made between 96 and 2000. He actually helped talk both Insomniac and Naughty Dog into making their games for PlayStation consoles as opposed to PC. And here we see a sentimental scene. The importance of it becomes more apparent later. Right now it's just sort of a foreshadowing. the fascinating thing to me is wondering what it would be like if Naughty Dog and Insomniac had have made these games for PC as opposed to PlayStation, and what sort of industry we would have at this point, considering the popularity of those franchises on the PlayStation 1 and how much it helped Sony. As far as Naughty Dog and Insomniac goes, he did also help with the first 2 Jak and Daxter and first 3 Ratchet and Clank games between 2000 and 2004. Here's a little bit more of a foreshadowing for the storyline. For these roles, he's usually listed as additional design consultant, because at this point he started his own independent design freelancing job under Cerny Games, as opposed to working for a specific company. He was also a consultant for the Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction in 2007. He also played what he calls small roles that were unlisted for Resistance 2, the first Uncharted, God of War 3, and Killzone 3. The IDGA gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2004. The Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences inducted him into their Hall of Fame as the 13th member in 2010. And in 2014, he won a special award as Development Legend at the Develop Industry Excellence Awards. As this wraps up now, and our Mark Cerny history comes to a close, we will discuss next how the games that he had worked on previously helped influence certain aspects of this game, as well as talk about Japan Studio and the games that they have worked on previously, and how those games have also influenced the production of this game. So that's pretty much going to conclude it for our second Knack episode. We're going to get into this cutscene here and then cut it off after that. This is our introduction as far as the storyline goes into us following the goblins and finding out where their hideout is. Again, I want to thank you very much for watching and for possibly liking or subscribing. Thank you very much for the support, and we will continue with this adventure very soon. I am the Gaming Elementalist. Have a good one.
Splitting up should make that faster. Perhaps north, east, and west through the forest.
We'll take the forest. Come on, Knack.